I got hold of several other people that was interested, and we kind of gelled together. And they elected me to president, and I tried to take it to the heights, and I think I did a pretty good job at it.
And all we was concerned about was the horses. And we were united in our passion for that. One thing that I'm very encouraged about is that the unity with the younger crowd coming on that's kind of survived.
Heirloom. Something of special value handed down from one generation to another. In terms of the Marsh Tacky, that's something that speaks volumes. Everyone that is involved with these horses has a story, has that story, or stories and memories that are what make these horses so special to them.
The first Marsh Tacky I had was named Rusty. He was a stud when I got him, and I guess that's what started. He come off, I brought him across the water from Hilton Head. That was way before the bridge was finished over there, and I brought him over on the barge. They were real easy to break, and I plowed them and rode. We had I lived on down about a mile on down the old place, and we had about 300 mama cows, and my job was to mine them in the can brake, and I drive them Marsh Tackies out there on them cows and keep them in the can brake, keep them getting out on the highway, and I guess I just fell in love with them.
Drove down there a lot, drove forever down a beautiful, typical low country wooded oak lane. Pulled up there and there was 8 or 10 trailers and stuff, so had to everybody introduce everybody. I had unloaded my little app mare and was sitting around there then. About that time I heard some banging come down the road and a couple of long trailers pull up there, and then they threw open the back of that trailer, and I don't know, folks, they was probably 6 or 8 or 10, mostly grueler, and I don't know why, because I'm a grueler man. It sticks to me. Out of the back of that trailer was pretty some rough looking little horses, probably coming 2-year-olds. I said, my God, what's that? And old Ed Ravenel said, that's Arnold Postel, I think Legree Warren, and I wish I could remember some other guys that had so much to do with preserving the tackies.
Was they everything I told you they were?
Oh yeah, they've been everything you've told me they were since I was a little kid. We'd come over and we'd come down here and we hunted down here almost every Saturday. We were down here every Saturday. And we'd come over and we'd bring our horses, and sometimes we'd leave them here. Like if we were gonna be down here for a while, we'd bring them over, leave them here. And then we had some stuff over at the club, and we'd come over here, and every time we'd come over here, there was always something interesting going on. You always had cattle, there was always something going on. It was always just cool to watch. That's where, like I said, that's kind of where the draw was for me.
Even in the way that an heirloom holds value because of the people involved with it or the way that it's passed down, the Marsh Tacky holds its own value due to its rich history and uniqueness versus other horses.
and I've said this back, that I've got a kindred spirit with the Marsh Tackies. I'm a pretty rough old boy that's been blessed and that tough. I'm a survivor with some things in my life. These little horses are a survivor. And the type horse that I've got, that I've used them, they're woods horses. They're using horses. But a Marsh Tacky is not going to win the Kentucky Derby. They're not going to do this. But I'm going to tell you, they're very tractable. They're using horses. The worst thing you can do is buy one, because you ain't going to buy one. You're going to get 2 and 3. But a true Marsh Tacky, which is the Spanish type characteristic where they're bred, were family horses and uses horses. Back then, they couldn't afford a horse to do this and a horse to do that. The little horses they had would plow. They'd go hunting on them. They'd go to, back in the Revolutionary War, they were very usable. They used everything. And that's what made them the type horse they are.
And there are a difference in the breed of horses. A Marsh Tacky is a real durable horse. Easy to break, easy to get along with, and they take to you better than the domestic horses. They'll trustworthy. They trust you better than domestic horses do. If you got hold of a good Marsh Tacky that had locked onto you, you wouldn't want no other horse.
An heirloom can hold a lifetime's worth of memories that the person who owns it or holds it can cling to forever. And through good times and through bad and crucial parts of life, that heirloom can become a very intricate piece that they can always come back to no matter what. That's no different with the Marsh Tackies.
He sent his horses to me at a time in my life, a businessman, family man, kind of searching. A lot of men go through different things in their life and do stupid things, and they were a gift. How I was chosen to be gifted professionally with my talents in business and family, I don't know. But I love them. They love me. And I love talking about them.
You know, that kind of stuff. And then having the Marsh Tacky is my connection to South Carolina. And that's my connection to home. And coming back to them after getting out of the military was like, that was me coming home, I guess. So.
As years go by, generations grow old, memories are made, and heirlooms are passed on. With that comes the expectation and a responsibility to care for and value the heirlooms that are passed down to us.
Well, I would like to have it where everybody that wants one or would like to have one would have the opportunity of getting him and get him to be as famous as the quarter horse and the thoroughbreds are. And I think we're on the way to that. But I think my job is to put them in the hands of people that's going to take care of them and promote them, and not just turn them loose and call them a horse. Call them something that's durable and something that's easy to break and something to fall in love with. Is what I'd like to leave.
So what's going to be really neat, the Colin Drews, the David Grants, the Marion Gohagans, the Marion Broaches, Ashley Jones, Mr. DP, the Ravenel, in 30 years, it's going to take time, folks. It's going to take time. That all of a sudden, some young person is going to read about these Marsh Tackies and get intrigued and fall in love like we did. Then all of a sudden, they're going to buy a horse, and they're going to get digging through the stud book. That horse comes from Mr. DP, from Cowboy, Crankshaft, and all that. Folks, that is what is exciting. When I'm dead and gone, my name will be mentioned. Different people will be mentioned, and they said, "Boy, this horse is really doing good in cowboy mounted shooting, or in whatever discipline they choose." That's what's exciting. That we captured them, we documented them, and now we got the lineage and what horses do this. So it's going to be really special to be able to pull up on the internet and keep up with what horses do this and what horses do that. That when a young person says, I want to get into Marsh Tackies. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want a stud to come off this line. I want a mare to come off this line. And they can choose.
Well, I think I planted the seed. I want to see what y'all gonna do with it.
Oh, we're trying. We're trying hard to do. We're going to, you know, I think from the conversations you and I have had in the past, I think right now, I feel like the current direction of the association is good. I feel like there's people involved that are really, you know, they're putting forth the effort that needs to go in. I'm not saying folks haven't done it in the past, but I think there's you know, they want to take it to the next level. They want to take it to, instead of being, you know, and you and I have talked about this, I've talked about it with Colin, but instead of being a backyard breed, they want it to be
Front yard breed.
a front yard breed. Exactly, a front yard breed. They want it to be in the forefront. And I think there's people out there now that are really putting horses out there and are really doing things on par with mainstream horses, with mainstream breeds. You know, I'll take my horse and, you know, I rope with quarter horses. I rope with ranch horses. I take my horse and I shoot with quarter horses and ranch horses.
When it comes to the Marsh Tackies, I believe the biggest draw is that they're such an heirloom. They have such a rich history and story behind them, and they've got unique characteristics that give them monetary value, but the biggest value comes in a sentimental sense. See, that value comes from the culture that surrounds these horses. Everybody has their own story and the reason that these horses are special to them, and everybody wants to share that with people and tell people about them. And that's where the love for these horses comes from, because that, you know, they're passing the heirloom down. They're telling people about them. They're telling people how special and how great they are, and that is leading into someone else's heirloom, the heirloom story. Just like Granddaddy's pocket knife and Grandma's ring, they mean something to each person, and each person has a different meaning that these horses have for them. And it'll cause people to fight and conflict and argue, but at the end of the day, the love and the memories and the sentimental value that they have is what draws us all closer together and draws everybody together and makes everybody such a tight-knit group. And that's what's going to preserve these horses for the next generation to enjoy and to pass that heirloom down.